out that Joanne prepares for us for stormwater. It's part of our MS4 community responsibilities. Clean water starts with you. Streets connect to lakes and rivers. Rainwater flows to storm sewers that connect to area lakes and rivers. Along the way, stormwater runoff collects litter, nutrients, and salt pollutants from the lawns, sidewalks, and streets. That's where that polluted water flows into our water. So, the moral of the story is, how can we help? Everyone can help prevent pollution. Rake leaves and remove debris from the street in front of your house. After mowing, sweep up grass clippings from street, driveways, and sidewalks so they don't enter the catch basins and storm drain system. Use a rain barrel to collect water and use rainwater to water your property. Redirect your gutters and downspouts from driveways up alleys onto lawn and gardens so they can be absorbed rather than just running off. Pick up pet waste, self-explanatory. Prevent fluid leaks from keeping your vehicle in good repair. Never pour anything down a storm drain. And plant a rain garden so that it can absorb some drought.
Along that note, I was going to talk for one moment about open pickup, just that the spring open pickup begins on April 20th. And I think that is a big culprit for some of these problems, is when people put their debris on the street before it is time, and then it clogs our drains. So just a reminder that it has not started yet, even though we've had a couple sunny days. All right. So the next item is billing issues.
No billing issues.
Okay.
I'm not sure we'll be able to say that next month because the bills are going to go out for a couple of weeks.
All right.
First quarter.
So now we will go to resolutions. Is there any resolution on our agenda that anybody wants to pull for discussion?
We usually got one item at a time.
Oh, do you want to do that? Okay. All right then. So the first item then is approval of the minutes from the March 2nd meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the warrant.
Page 8 is the forms for forms, water fill forms, the second item on page 8.
Yep.
You got the, I think, water fill forms, instruction, I can't say it. You have that form?
Yeah, they're printed out by this Bear Graphics, so we order them probably every few years for our bills so that we can print them.
Oh, that's enough to water bill forms in new ones.
No, that's the software,
Oh,
the new software. No, those are actually the pieces of paper we use to print the bills on.
okay.
They're all filled out, and then Adam throws them through the printer, and each one of the columns are filled in. If you
I was looking for new ones.
no, the Tyler Technology. If you go down a little further on the page, and you can see Tyler Technologies. It's the second one from the last, where it says conversion. That's the new software for the new billing system.
Okay. Any further?
Move it. You move it.
Okay. So second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is the Tectonic Engineering Dam Safety Inspection and Reporting Proposal.
Yeah, this is a requirement by New York State Department of Environmental Conservation that we have these inspected every couple of years. Tectonic has done it in the past. I got two proposals that are necessary from purchasing. Tectonics responded with the 23,000, which I thought was extremely good. Department of Justice at this time said they couldn't respond, so I have that letter. Unfortunately, put it in the package. So I'll make sure that goes in the package. That's what I said. So. Tectonics has done this in the past successfully, so.
I feel like the research in this price area too.
Yeah, I
Nice to see.
Yeah,
One thing that hasn't doubled.
yeah, so,
We're gonna do, we're gonna do dams and, I think that's it, said we're gonna do the,
on the proposal, on the first page, it tells you exactly what they're gonna do here. So they're gonna do the pond dam, the storage pond dam, Keenan Reservoir Dam, Headley Brook Dam, and the Woodley Reservoir Dam.
we're gonna do the, intake too?
No, no, that's not, this isn't part of the intakes. That RFP is out right now for engineering services, so I'll go over that under discussion.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Someone would like to make a motion?
Motion?
Okay. Second, all in favor?
Right.
Okay. Motion carries. Next item is TKC, emergency repair on Fort Amherst.
Yes, this, discussed this before a few different times. Tom Gabrecki was called December 30th because we had tried for like a day and a half to get the break and the excavation under control, and we didn't have enough equipment to do it, so we needed some bigger equipment to come in and help us. So Tom mobilized on the 30th, had the repair done on the 31st. Didn't submit the bill until late February. I got the bill, and I told him we weren't gonna pay that bill, so we went back and forth and negotiated, and this is the correct amount for this, the thing they did. They had to come in with a lot of shoring, they came in and drove it down, so they could do water. Remember that this was a water main break right next to the pond, so there was a lot of groundwater. And it's just out of our reach. So we had a lot of the work already done, but we were able to bring him in and quickly get it done and get out of there before the ball drop on him.
Okay.
And this is gonna be paid at a 2025 budget.
Move it?
Second, all in favor?
Right.
Okay, any opposed? All right, next we go to the water treatment facility PLC upgrade proposal.
This is from General Control Systems. We've been working on this, and it's budgeted in this year's budget. This is a sole source project due to the fact that they're the only people that have ever worked on our system. So they're the only ones that we're familiar with. And we're extremely comfortable with them doing it and getting the job accomplished. We're not having to worry about it. Cybersecurity.
What was PLC?
Programmable logic controller.
Oh.
It's basically,
Software.
yeah, it's basically what tells pumps and things to come on and off at what levels. It basically is the brains that run the water treatment plant for us.
What's Rich's role?
Looking good. He just looks good.
Okay, so you'll move that? Peter? Are you making a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
A second?
All in favor?
Huh?
Okay, great. And the last one is the timber sales.
I'm gonna bring Tom up, Tom Gilman,
Sit up here.
from FW to go ahead and fill us in on the red pine and what we were worried about and some very good news.
Yes.
Yep, so let me bring you up to speed and explain what we've been up to as well, if that's fine. So we did an inventory of the different units, about 6 man days of time in the field. We prepared the bid prospectuses and sent those out to 20 plus buyers or loggers, mostly by email because we were wanting to keep things moving along. We had a timber showing. Bill showed up for that as well. We had a good showing. That's where we show the buyers, loggers, the jobs. They can ask questions and go over the details. We then delineated the sale areas with flagging and paint so they know where to stop and the loggers know where to stop at the end of the sale. There's probably about 5 man days of time into that. Some of that area was by Lady Slipper Drive. We found some encroachment there from the neighbors, and we spoke to them, and they said they will clean it up. So we shall see. But if not, I will let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And surprisingly, I sent out like 18 letters. I met 2 of the gentlemen out there, and they're all for it, cutting trees. They were no problems whatsoever. So that was encouraging. And I said, good, talk to your neighbors. Assisted with the press release, with the city's communications person and the Facebook and the news. Very limited response from what I saw on the news and Facebook stuff, which I guess is okay. So the bids were due today, this morning at 9. We got, on the 4 units, we either got 6 or 7 bids. One of the sheets you have there, the one, portrait one, shows the unit, the bid values, and remember, these are prices they will pay per unit when they cut them. So it's an estimate based on our inventory. So these aren't fixed lump sum prices like we've done in the past. So they cut a load of logs and send it to the mill, and they pay based on the mill scale the rate that they proposed in their bid. So these are estimates. The interesting thing is one of them was the winner of every single one, and the second came in second was the same person. Now we couldn't take the bid for all 4 with the same person. They don't have the capacity to move this much wood that fast. Okay, they'll on unit number 1, for instance, I'm recommending Duhame logging. They'll be there for probably a month and a half or 2 months. And so they wouldn't have time to do, or Legendary Landworks, for instance, it was 1 at a time. They only have the opportunity to do 1 of them. It's springtime, they want other places to go. They'd be there until January, and we need it done before then. The other thing too is each of these buyers have different markets and different opportunities, so it's good to diversify the buyers as well. So I'm recommending on each unit the one I highlighted in yellow, and based on that and our estimated volumes, the estimated total income is in orange at the bottom. So we hope you get that as well. If you approve these, my recommendations, I will get contracts together and send them to the buyers to be returned to the city for the mayor to sign. And we've done this digitally. I don't know if you can do that digitally, or you want wet ink signatures?
Digital's fine.
Okay. Okay.
So, I know you just kind of explained it, but all of, I guess, Legendary Landworks and the second one, they both told you they could only do one?
Well, we've discussed it, and I know their capacity too. You know, they have one loader, one feller buncher, one or two skidders, and on one of those units, they'll be there for a month or two or more, and we don't have that much time, and we'd like to get these all going and whatnot. So my decision on who I recommended was based on some of their pricing per unit, and you know, like obviously Legendary Landworks and Duhame should each get one, and then the other ones were ones that had come in third place, and so that's my recommendation.
Another reason would be, you know, we don't want anybody rushing near those property owners or near the Peggy Ann and Potter Road Trail.
And stuff like that.
Make sure they're not rushing.
If we had 12 months, yeah, maybe we could take the high bidder on all of them. Although they like this for the spring. They don't want to be here in July and August. They want to be cutting hardwood somewhere else and things like that. So if we, after contracts, we also collect the insurance from each, listing both the city and FNW as additionally insured on their liability policy. We get workers' comp insurance as well. We collect $5,000 performance deposit. They get started, we're there, making sure they're all getting set up and everything, they know what's going on. They get trip tickets and load tickets, so every load that leaves gets documented, and that's how payments come in. We're of course inspecting, making sure they're cutting out saw logs as saw logs and telephone poles as telephone poles, and not putting them into something like pulpwood. We collect their income and process it, and then I'd like to be able to pay the city by ACH or direct deposit instead of writing a paper check, because they'll come out of Georgia, and I don't want to put paper checks in the mail constantly. I'm hoping we can do that. We do that all the time for clients. So.
I think that's fine. We'll just double check with our controller.
Okay.
We have to check on when.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get you the information that we require to do that, and you can pass that along then. And so when a payment comes in, there's a letter from, say, unit number 1 saying that this is the income for the week, and that letter will match up with the income that comes in. So you'll know how many MBFs, how many telephone poles, how many everything. It's what we enter everything into a computer system to keep track of it and whatnot.
Do you check every week?
Yeah, so when they first start, you know, they'll cut and send wood that week, and the mill may not pay till Friday of the following week. So we get the information from them that next week. So it's like 3 weeks before you'll see your first payment, just because things get rolling. But then every week, they should be making a payment. If they don't, that's when we go chasing. So, I did reach out to Queensbury, the trail people, and the building department or zoning, because of the cutting, and they might get phone calls, and we may want to stop people using the trail for a morning or something like that. Nobody got back to me though, so I'll follow back up with them again.
You are within our rights though to throw out some cones or cautions. I mean, we gotta do what we gotta do, right?
Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
no-
yeah.
it's just
We'll do what we
courtesy.
gotta do, and, you know, we figured we'd send Rick out there to
Well, this
stand
is-
on one end and,
This is a safety issue, obviously, for people walking, but if we don't do it, it's a greater safety issue with a
Right.
tree snapping and falling on something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, so, but we'll be around quite a bit, obviously inspecting, and we'll work with in conjunction with Log of when they're gonna be on the strips of trees right next to the trail.
Sure.
Up on Buckbee, we're cutting right along the road, and I may reach out to the town of Queensbury Highway Department and say, while we're right there, can we block the road too? See what they say. I mean, it's a safety issue, so, better for everybody,
Sure.
so. But I'll take care of all that, and if I need help, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So-
Usually what we do, they're pretty good, and then just, if there's any kind of emergency or an emergency vehicle that needs to be
Yeah.
drive, we'll just make sure that that's
Yeah,
transfer, so they get through it. So
Yeah.
travel, make sure there's a travel.
so. Any questions about the process with bids or anything?
That's great.
Do you wanna mention what you were telling me about what we budgeted?
Sure. Usually what Tom does is usually very conservative on his bid numbers for when we do a timber sale. I think every year I've been here so far, we exceeded the budget. I think last year was the first time, I think it was
Close.
117, and I usually budget 125. So this year I budgeted 125. This line item is gonna come out 623, or that's an estimate, close to that, or maybe above it, who knows?
Yeah, so this was sort of an emergency action, so otherwise, we would have cut this area over 4 different years,
Mm.
so.
And the reason for that is, one good thing about the red pine insect.
Yeah, glad we caught it in time and
So that
are able to salvage it. And,
If we don't do it in the shortest time span, the trees are useless.
so. And during the thing, if you're interested in coming out and looking at it, just let us know and be happy to give you a hard hat and show you around, so.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, so do you have a resolution, a motion to approve this resolution?
Sure.
Yes.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I will get contracts moving first thing tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
You as well.
You too. Okay.
Electrical upgrade, this is a recurring topic, because it's a dynamic topic, it keeps fluctuating, so, we're still working with, EFC. Every time we seem to send them 1 or 2 things in, they ask for 3 or 4 more. But I think we're getting close, and, now we've actually gotten bond counsel on the phone, to talk about a couple different things, because they want some financing stuff. I guess the resolution was 20 million, there was a, engineering, estimate of 20.8 million, so they wanted to know, do we have to increase the resolution or not? And right now, according to bond counsel, he doesn't think so, because we also got $1 million from, Senator Schumer. So we're hoping that's gonna cover that to get it through, and then go out to bid, and again, we may have to redo the resolution depending on the final bid numbers. We're not doing that, but that's,
EFC reached out to me too to double check and make sure the original seeker was still appropriate, because, they saw the original estimated number and now
yeah.
they're looking at 20 million, and I responded as to Jeremy, just said, yeah, if you look at the original seeker, it was the overall project and didn't give specifics. The scope has not changed, and they were fine with that.
Yeah. Thank you. B, request for proposals for the RFP for engineering inspection and maintenance plan for the reservoirs and intake dams. I think that's what you were talking about, Peter, earlier. That RFP went out last Tuesday. We sent it to about 25 different firms. So we're waiting to see. We have not a mandated, but a very strongly worded ask of them coming to view them while we have them down. I think that's happening on the 21st and 24th of this month. And then they have 2 weeks to come back with a proposal. So this is the start of the process. So we'll we'll have a better indication of who shows up on those dates, so that we know who's probably gonna bid on them. We went from very large international firms all the way down to some local engineering firms.
And are they all proposing or specializing in the same tech for like linings and makeup and stuff, or are they all have different approaches and?
Well, that's what we'll look at, what their approaches are. We gave them our specifications, what we need to do, now that's what we're hiring them to do to make out their own specifications. So then we'll take a look at their proposals, depending on how many we get, we'll shortlist them down to probably 3 or 4 firms, interview them, and then make an offer. And this is, so we follow all the sequences, so if we are seeking funding to review them, we meet all of the EFC criteria during the procurement process. VACCON truck update. We did have the VACCON come out, the new one that we were looking at. They did a demonstration. Field crew were in awe. They love this new machine. So the reason we were looking at this one is because the dealership that we utilized switched vendors for the truck. The other one's a VACCON. This is a Camel. It's relatively the same price. So I wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable with the machine, they liked the machine. We have some really good recommendations from KPI, who's a company that does a lot of TV and cleaning work over here from Queensbury. They have several of these machines that they love. We also like working with these guys because when they need to maintain them, we usually bring our machine to them and they turn it around in a quick period. So the next steps for this is I'm going to talk to finance people, because we were looking at doing this either through a lease to own or bonding for it. When the numbers came back, and first it was they said to lease it, and then they looked at the numbers a little more closely, and it was about $40,000 cheaper to bond for 5 years. So I just want to make sure that's all in the same process, that the interest rates and everything is the same. I'll check with them again, and hopefully I'll have this for the next water and sewer board meeting as a resolution. And then depending on how we go, I think if we go to the bond, we need a public hearing and things of that nature. So that may slow it down a little bit more, but.
Does it make any sense to take a look at new information on that, or is that?
No, I think we've already got this budgeted for you either way, and it's like on a 5-year program. This puts us in a little better area, and if we get that, number one, remember when we passed the budget, we used some of the surplus, some of the fund balance, so that probably won't need to be done if we get this funding. And also, we were looking at using the fund balance for the engineering study, the intakes, so that may not need to be done either. So.
Gotcha.
That one. Lead and copper rule sampling. We talked to Arcadis about doing our schools, junior highs down, and childcare facilities have to be sampled by the end of the year for lead, for the lead and copper rule from EPA. That's where that comes. The 2025 water withdrawal report has been submitted. The 2026 NS4 annual report, interim progress certificate, has also been submitted. Warren County Soil and Water is helping us go forward, but they've also been instrumental with us doing these also, reviewing them for us, and helping us, and Nick Rowell from Warren County Soil and Water was the same way this year, which is how good it was. So with that, fire department great retrieval on Butler Storage Reservoir. I'm going to give you a little show and tell here. We had to, if you can see up here, that's our intake grate that sits on that. I'll show it to you in another picture to get a little closer look, but it's probably between 80 and 90 pounds. And what happened was when it froze, the ice lifted it up, and as the ice melted, it pushed it out. You can see how far from shore it was. So there were some ideas of getting in a kayak and tying a rope to it and pulling it in. We said, well, let's talk to the fire department and see if they'd like to help us out. So you can see. Rowing out there.
Trying to get on top of the ice.
Yeah. That's another picture. You can see them on the ice, tying it up. They said there were two crews, one went out there and did this, and they said that was the more experienced crew. Then they came back and they sent a couple of the rookies out, and I guess one of them fell through things. But that's why they had those suits on. So that was part of their training. This is a picture of that grate. It was actually, you can see that clamp that holds it in place, and actually the ice just lifted it up and off. Carried it away, and like I said, it takes two guys just to lift it up and get it there. This is the water line on the bridge. We probably would have been done with it today, sampled, but this is the Finch side, and this flange is the old flange we attached to, and when they torqued it to put it all together, this flange cracked. So now they're gonna have to take this apart, take this flange piece off, cut it back a little bit, put a piece there, and then reconnect. So I mean, this is a flexible joint, so when the bridge moves, the pipe has got some flex to it, so it doesn't crack. If you can see under here, I'll have better pictures here. This is the South Glens Falls line. This is the big one that cracked. There on, you can see all that's white is all insulation.
Is that like a 4-inch line?
Ours or theirs?
The South Glens Falls one?
No,
just-
no, that's a 12-inch line.
Oh.
You'll see it better here.
It looks like a 4-inch PVC. I was like,
That's the
God.
that's the flexible joint right there. That's their.
Oh, there we go. All right. Got it.
That puts it in a little more perspective.
Yeah.
So this is where we were Friday. They had just put this piece in. There's 3 sections of this 8-inch line, and then there's a reconnect point there. When they were reconnecting this right here, some heard some crack, and then they went and saw some water coming out the other end. So hopefully, here you can see more. You can see how long that line was, that temporary line. But these are the barges they have down there. That's the lift. So this is what's going to be the expense, is putting all this stuff down there. And this is, we'll do some negotiating with South Glens Falls to make sure that they're paying for what they're obligated to pay for, and we're paying for what we're obligated to pay for. And these clamps, and again, the holdup was our ability to get the material and get it here. That's what took the longest time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unhappy commuters some mornings.
Oh, yes, I've got a lot of calls, I get a call, they got the line, the lane closed, nobody's doing any work. Yeah, well, you don't see everything that's going on down underneath, and you don't see the equipment they gotta move to go down underneath. It's like on the highway when there's like 3 miles of cones and you're saying, there's nobody here. It still has to be done for safety and stuff.
It was one of our people that did that last bolt torque that saw the crack.
No, it was the contractors, but, and
That's rough.
and that's Bob standing right there with the orange jacket there. And he's right, better that we found it now
Well, right, yeah.
than in, a year, and then we gotta put all that back, and then it's,
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for the pictures, it helps to visualize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious
Yeah.
actually about all of this.
Yeah.
It's great to see.
Yeah, and I wish I had some of the temporary line, because they ran the plastic temporary line for South Glens Falls to us from this way, and then they cut it across. That was all plastic pipe, and that was just the temporary repair. It was quite the undertaking.
Okay, do we have anything for personnel?
I do.
Okay.
I do. We have a new assistant controller. We've been interviewing probably for 3 weeks. The gentleman, I think middle of last week, confirmed that he was taking the position. And we are also have a new senior account clerk that's starting tomorrow. He'll be replacing Mary Beth, who's retired. So she's here till the end of the month. When she retires, and then she's confirmed that she'll probably come back a couple days a week to continue training.
Great. Thanks to
And then, yes, very much so. And then this, Amanda, who will be the new, senior account clerk, will receive the training on the new software system for the billing.
It's good timing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Those are both really good updates, and I'm very happy that we'll have a new deputy controller who will be able to really focus on the water and sewer budget as well. It's been some time since we've been able to do that. So, okay. Then the last item is just to talk about our next meetings. Does anyone have any other discussion or anything? No? Okay, so we will be meeting next on Monday, April 20th, for a water and sewer workshop. And then our next regular meeting will be Monday, May 4th.
And I think both Commissioner Woody and Ron Green dashed to the April workshop, and then the May meeting, and then I think in May we're probably gonna make the workshop a special meeting, because we're hoping to have the intake RFP, engineer chosen by then, so that we can go ahead and make that choice.